Speaking of SmackDown, though, it was on that same show. It was a newsworthy night, probably not for the best reasons, between the Vince stuff and what happened here. But Roman and Riddle had a great match for the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship. Obviously, Roman wins, retains the title. Very good match. That was not the end of the show, though. Roman gets on the mic and says there's nobody left. And quite honestly, usually Wrestling 101 would tell you, oh, someone's going to come out. And someone did come out. But I didn't get my hopes up thinking like, all right, like you and I, we went to Survivor Series. We thought The Rock might come out. No one came out. WrestleMania, we thought someone might come out after Roman won. No one came out. Raw, SmackDown that week, no one interrupted. I'm thinking, okay, they're probably just going to have Roman show up, retain the title, and then leave again until they have another opponent in time for SummerSlam. We found out earlier in the show, per Riddle's promo, that Orton, after we discussed this last week, is very likely out for the foreseeable future, if not for the rest of the month. So he's going to be out, or for the rest of the year, rather, not even the rest of the month, with a back operation, serious back injury, which Riddle already alluded to a few weeks ago. So the planned main event for SummerSlam of Roman and Orton is off. And instead, we're getting Roman and Brock for the upteenth time for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship in a last man standing match. Now, this could change between now and then, with Rollins being added either ahead of time or in the midst of the match. If that was the plan, and they already knew Rollins was going to be in Money in the Bank by the time they announced this match on Friday, I'm not really sure why they would announce it as a last man standing match if it's going to become a triple threat, which tells me they probably have no plans of doing that. Roman and Brock has been done to death. It's impossible for me to care at this point, but for them, they probably see it as a draw, and I guess it is, more so than a triple threat, and that's why they're doing it one-on-one. So I am no fan of this at all, and it's not even the case of, oh, they don't have anyone else. I mean, you have Bobby, you have AJ Styles, if they bothered to build him up more, among a few other people. I just don't think doing another Brock and Roman matchup for, again, the millionth time, especially after they wrapped up their feud the way they did at WrestleMania, is the answer right now.
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty upset. I mean, I popped for a second because I was going nuts for
yeah.
Brock, but then I put two and two together, and I was like, shit. I mean, I they've had decent matches together, but like you said, I don't know. It's just it just screams, which it is. I mean, it doesn't scream. It is. It's just I think with you mentioned Bobby, which I completely agree. But honestly, with how they were dealing with the two basically Roman not being around, I honestly feel like they're gonna put the U.S. title on Bobby, and he'll kind of be the main champion on Raw since Roman's never around. Which, I mean, if you're going to have a main champion on a show, I feel like Bobby would be the perfect person if he's, kind of holding up the show. I don't hate that aspect, but I feel like that's why they didn't include him, because I feel like they have him as, the Intercontinental Champion, or U.S. Champion, and he'll be, the main champion on Raw, since Roman's never around, but I don't know. I think I like Brock, but, I mean, like you said, I think you could have put anyone else in that, and I think people would have cared. It's just, they've done so many matches. The match at WrestleMania was basically a culmination that we all thought would be the culmination of this main feud, but fortunately Randy's out. I honestly would have saved Riddle. I would have just done Riddle.
Yeah, I agree.
Even that would have been better. I think the match on SmackDown was good. I think it was hurt by the commercials. I think if you built it up even more, maybe you got even a more serious side of Riddle leading into SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would have, honestly, at that point, wouldn't even mind putting a belt on him. I think the two belts of Roman, if he was around, fine. Him not being around has really hurt SmackDown more than Raw, and I don't know. I just feel like him not being there has been killing SmackDown a lot, and I also don't think the booking, I mean, we get the same fucking 4 matches every week, but
yeah.
I don't know. I would have just done him and Riddle. Like I said, do it for one of the belts, just to get one of the belts off Roman. But maybe they want Drew to beat him at the next show. I really don't know. But him being double champion and not being on the show has really hurt both shows, specifically SmackDown.
But then it also begs the question, dude, what do you do? What happens here? I mean, does Roman beat Brock again? I mean, I know it's last man standing, so he's not going to pin him. But are you really going to have Brock lose again? He already lost to Roman twice in recent months. I mean, he beat him at Crown Jewel, and then he beat him again at WrestleMania. And then he also lost to Bobby at the Royal Rumble, so he's lost 3 times in the last year. Do you really think they would have Brock lose again? And that also begs the question, if they have Brock win, is Brock the one to take the both belts or one of the belts or whatever from Roman? I really don't want Roman to lose at all until Cody Rhodes comes back, but that might be that might be a distant memory at this point because it's not for another several months, and they still have another, many months to go until Cody Rhodes comes back, and you have Drew waiting in the wings, probably a Clash of the Castle. What happens with that match? Do we get Brock and Drew at Clash of the Castle instead of Roman and Drew? Do you put the belt right back on Roman? Is it a short reign? I mean, how do you think this is going to go down, and does it change between now and then?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, that's really interesting. I mean, fuck, now that you said that, it's like, honestly, now that you say it, I feel like they're going to put the belt on Brock, and then you have Drew beat him at Clash of Castle, whatever the fuck it's called, because then Drew would get that big win against Brock in front of a crowd.
Exactly.
At WrestleMania. I don't know. I honestly, now looking back at it, if they knew Roman was going to leave, they're just idiots for keeping both belts on. Like, I don't know why they put both belts on him at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was just dumb. Unless there was something that like last minute changed. I mean, besides that, it's just been an awful decision. I love Roman, but I mean, I can't bitch about Brock and be like, oh, he needs to be on the show and then let Roman skate. So they really need to take at least one of the belts off him, specifically the SmackDown one, because I feel like that show is hindering. I mean, now that they have Gunther with the Intercontinental Champion, maybe they'll push him more as like a top guy, and he'll kind of take over, like I said, like that Bobby role if he wins the United States Championship, like as the main champion on the show. But I don't know. I think they need to go change course because it's just not working.
I mean, Rollins has been really pushing in the last week alone that he's winning Money in the Bank and it very likely plans to cash in at SummerSlam. He's a heel still. I would have turned him face, but if he's a heel, I don't see him announcing ahead of time, which honestly I would have done. If this was me and Cody Rhodes is out, I would have turned Rollins face a few weeks ago. Even if Brock didn't come back, I would still have turned Rollins face. I already said this, but... And then if he was going to win Money in the Bank, which I don't hate, I mean, I'd rather someone newer win it because that's... The Rumble being won by an established star... Like, Brock winning this year was fucking dumb, but, whatever. Money in the Bank, to me, really should be won by someone who hasn't been world champion before, someone they intend on pushing, like a Theory or a Gunther or someone like that. Not Rollins, but, it does present a lot of interesting storyline possibilities, so I don't hate the idea of him winning. But if he was a babyface, you can announce it in advance. I think the whole surprise cash-in shit has just gotten old, especially in recent years, like... When The Miz did it, it was fucking dumb because he was a joke at that point. Braun, I guess, didn't do a surprise cash-in, but that was a fucking fail. Brock doing it, no one gave a shit. Corbin was just fucked up in the last couple of years. So the concept in the last couple of years has been fucked up. I don't know. Do you put the belts on Rollins? And yeah, it's better than Brock, but it's like... I mean, do you do the exact same thing you did at WrestleMania 31? I don't know. Do you have Rollins cash in and then Roman retains this time by pinning Rollins? I mean, I could see that happening, I guess. But then again, it's a last man standing match, so that's what really throws me off here.
Yeah, I don't even know at this point. I just, like I said, the double belt thing is what really, at the end of the day, like you said, so what do you have, Seth win again? Like, honestly, I wouldn't hate it. I just feel like Seth's not the one to beat Roman. It's like, but then is he going to beat Brock? Like, you could have him beat Brock, but then Brock's lost a shit ton lately. Like, that's the only thing I could see them doing is, like, they don't want Roman to lose the belts. They want to get the belts off him. So you have Rollins go in and beat Brock. But then, like I said, Brock's been eating so many pins lately. Like, eventually it's just going to, like, he needs to beat someone. Like, Christ almighty, I couldn't even tell the last time he won a match.
Mm-hmm. He won Elimination Chamber.
I mean, that's what Elimination Chamber, I forgot. That's what I would do. I would have, if with the situation that we're giving, because I can't change the situation that we're in, if I'm going to go with the situation that we have, I'd have Rollins cash in, beat Brock, so Roman didn't lose. Then you have Seth be the champion. But the thing is, then what do you do with Drew? See, like, that's the fucking, oh my fucking God.
I know. Cody who? Honestly, like, to me, this is my ranking. I would prefer Cody be the one to take not even take the Universal title, or people are saying the WWE title because that's the one that Dusty wanted or whatever. I mean, I guess, but the Universal title is the one that Roman has held for like almost 2 years now. So that to me means more than anything than the fucking WWE title.
How about that? How about you have well, I mean, I'm not totally against him. I don't care if he beats Roman or whatever. Honestly, I feel like the way they could do it, that would make sense. You have Seth win the belts, goes the Clash of Castle, whatever the fucking dumb name of the show is.
The name's not that bad, I don't think.
It's stupid. You have Drew beat him for the Universal Championship. Rollins holds the fucking WWE Championship through to WrestleMania. You have Cody win the Rumble. You do Seth and Cody at WrestleMania. Cody wins the belt. And then you do have Roman and Drew, or something with Roman. Roman's still on SmackDown, so you get the belts off get two belts off one person, and then that's the direction you go in. You have Drew be the champion on SmackDown. You have Seth be the champion on Raw. And then you lead to Cody coming back, wins the Rumble, goes to WrestleMania, beats Seth for the WWE Championship.
Yeah.
I mean, the way the story is, I mean...
I agree. No, it's not like... Yeah, no, you're making the most of a bad situation.
Yeah, exactly. That's the best... I mean, get the belts off two people. Get the two belts off one person is the first issue.
Yes, I do think, though... I don't know, to me, I really do think that Cody, or at least Drew, because I was going to say, Cody to me would be number one, then Drew, then Rollins, then Brock. As far as the people I would have beat Roman.
Yeah, Roman, but he's not beating Roman, he's beating Seth. He's beating Brock.
Who?
Technically, the triple threat, he could beat Brock and still win the championship. Roman could lose the
I know, that's the thing. I like Rollins, but it's like... I just think whoever beats Roman, we've talked about this before, someone's got to benefit. I mean, if they have fucking Rollins do it after 2 years, and Rollins is already a 4-time champion, I'm like, why? It's better than Brock, but it's like, I mean, at least Drew has never beaten Roman before. I mean, if you have Rollins do it, we already saw this 7 years ago. I don't know. I feel like if you have Drew do it, it's like, okay, he's never beaten Roman. It's not ideal. We've talked about it before, but listen, it's better. To me, it's better than Rollins. Cody is the one I would wait for, and him getting injured really fucks things up, because I think they probably would have pushed that match forward to SummerSlam, maybe, if he wasn't hurt and Orton wasn't hurt. I think Orton and Roman would have been the perfect match, but, I mean, that's not the company's fault. He just got hurt. I don't know. Like, does he... The thing is, oh, my God, this is so fucked up. Like... You have the two titles. I do think the two titles should be broken up at this point if you're going to keep the titles on one guy that's never there. And yeah, Roman's on the Brock schedule, but Brock would also never wrestle on SmackDown. So why would you have Roman defend the titles on SmackDown but not Money in the Bank? That to me, first of all, makes no sense. But I don't know. How do you get from point A to point B as far as breaking up the titles? And to me, the real drawing point is someone beating Roman for the championships one-on-one. I mean, I think he can't hold the titles for this long and then not even be pinned for him. I feel like that's an absolute waste to me. And then as far as the Cody and Rollins stuff, I think you mapped it out well and it makes sense, but I'm done with the Cody and Rollins stuff. I think obviously when Cody comes back, to me, as other people have said, he should eliminate Rollins from the Royal Rumble. I think to do another match, it's like they already had fucking 3 matches. What is he going to beat him for a 4th time to win the title? That's another issue you're running with. It's not your fault, but it's like the companies they back themselves into a corner without thinking these things through. So creatively, there's no one outcome that makes any sense at all. I feel like we're in for an absolute mess come SummerSlam.
Yeah, but then I also think, so you're saying you have Cody, but the thing is, if you had, this is when they put themselves in a fucking pretzel here. The thing is, like you're saying, you're like, okay, then Seth, you have Cody eliminate Seth, but when he comes back, but if Seth did what everyone wanted him to do and like shake Cody's hand and go babyface, it wouldn't make sense at that point.
He's not going to, though.
Yeah, but like people were complaining, like, oh, they should have turned Seth. Like,
yeah.
He should have shook Cody's hand, Cody went away, and then they turned him babyface, which they didn't. He attacked Cody, so it's like, if he did do what you thought he was going to do, then him eliminating Cody wouldn't make no sense.
Well, I wouldn't do that then. I would do something else.
Yeah, exactly. But like
that's
fine.
There's
just so many fucking problems right now. So we're trying to book a fucking mess, and it's a mess. God, I don't know. Like I said, I think the first thing that needs to happen is you got to take both belts off Roman. I mean, Cody obviously would be the one to do it, but like I can't wait till fucking January at this point.
I don't know.
Handle it at this point.
I don't know. The one title thing was a really bad idea. I think in theory, you could have one champion because the roster is so depleted right now. That's actually not a bad idea, but that one champion is never on the show. Like, Friday marked Roman's first appearance in like a month. So, I don't know. And listen, good for Roman. He deserves it, but to have him with one title is one thing. To have both titles is ridiculous. And your top championship is a mid-card title that hasn't meant anything in years in the United States Championship, or even worse, the Intercontinental Championship. I mean, Bobby winning it would be fine, but it's just an absolute mess right now.